Like always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell while you're at it. It was said by Machiavelli, he who seeks to deceive will always find somebody who will allow himself to be deceived. This has happened to black folks in 1955, 1964, 1972, 1984, 1988, 1992, 2007, 2008, and a few days ago with Joe Biden's running mate pick, Kamala Harris. Now, God damn it, I told you Biden was the quintessential, and still is, Jim Crow era Democrat. What's that saying? Birds of a feather flock together. Biden got his start and political advice from people like Mississippi Senator, rabid segregationist, and close friend of LBJ, one James Eastland. Essentially, a good old boy mentored a contemporary good old boy on how to operate. Biden's VP choice, Kamala Harris, is a play right out of LBJ's playbook. Do something meaningless for blacks in order to strengthen their loyalty to the party. You see, I knew Kamala was going to be Biden's pick weeks ago. I knew this shit. If he didn't make the statement to work in a 7-Eleven, you must have a slight Indian accent. If he didn't make that statement, I would have only been able to surmise his pick's gender. However, since Biden made that statement, his choice. His choice killed three birds with one stone. Female, person of color, and a symbolic plea for forgiveness from South Asians. Of course, not black people, because unlike black folks, they are a lot less tolerant of those kinds of remarks. Anyway, Biden has no need to garner black forgiveness nor their vote, because the black vote is the Democratic cattle block. See, they pull us out the stalls, permitting us to graze just enough to be content for now, so they don't starve between feedings, of course. Besides, it's not a secret. Everybody knows this, that the majority of blacks will monolithically vote for Democrats, regardless of what the DNC is exposed of doing. Doesn't matter, because in the minds of black people, Democrats are the lesser of two evils. I don't know how they came up with that, but they did, and okay. Who am I to argue with their choice? I know that's never going to be my choice, but all right. Therefore, Kamala Harris is another act of Democrat skullduggery. Notwithstanding her prosecutorial record, Biden's pick ensured that he would get approximately 89 to 95% of the black female vote. Furthermore, Biden's pick will grant him a high rate of female support in general, just in general. Furthermore, I'm even of the belief that if by political dramaturgy Joe is elected president, his feebleness will propel Harris to be president. Much like JFK's murder led to LBJ becoming POTUS. Same shit. Just like I said, just a different thing. I said this before. You have to you could find any epic. But anyway, this should be met with chagrin from everyone. Why, you ask? Thank you, guys. You're welcome, Puck. You see, Harris once opined that she would be the voice for the victims. However, her career is laden in cronyism. It's laden in the shit, and it's contradictory to what she says she was supposedly standing for. What it, that is to say, Harris has a habit of dealing with problems by covering them, especially when those problems are associated with her. Kamala Harris, the daughter of a Marxist father who was a teacher and Jamaican government advisor, began her political power grab on a date with a one Willie Brown, who at that time was the second most powerful Californian politician in 1994. At the time, a 29-year-old Harris recognized Brown's socialite status and political status and viewed him as her means to an end. And because she viewed him as that, she happily became the Palomar of Brown, a man 2 years her father's senior. Kamala ascertained her malfeasance from Willie. Hell, in the 90s, Brown and Harris's affair was the talk of San Francisco. Additionally, Harris's mother defended her daughter's decision of using Brown. Mm, mm, mm. She used him to gaffle power and connections, and stated that this is what her mother stated. She stated, "What's the problem with her using him? Hell, he doesn't have much life to live now." Due to Brown's influence, due to Brown's influence, Harris was appointed to 3 state commissions that paid well, and had gained she had gained a political network that she still has, of course. Although Harris and Brown's fling fizzled out, Harris still had Brown's phalanx of cronies, and she expeditiously utilized them. Yes, she did. A couple of years later, Kamala was hired by then District Attorney of San Francisco, Terrence Hallinan, which was a decision that Hallinan would soon lament. That's right. Afterwards, Harris would leave Hallinan's office to work for the city attorney, a close ally of the Brown machine of corruption. Additionally, additionally, in 2003, with the backing of the Brown machine, Kamala went against Hallinan for the bid of San Francisco District Attorney against well-known incumbent Hallinan. Harris and an unknown opponent defeated him a few days after she was sworn in as the city DA. The corruption Harris ascertained from Brown was soon put into use. The city had opened an investigation into allegations that city workers were pressured to support Harris and the newly elected mayor, Gavin Newsom. And when that happened, Harris quickly closed that investigation because they all knew each other. They all had done dirt with and for each other. But over the course of Harris's tenure, a pattern of favoring those who were her political supporters and or closely aligned with Willie Brown would emerge. And that, excuse me, again, I'm holding back my yawns, I'm sorry. But that segues into one of Kamala's most troubling events during her tenure and why Hallinan would regret hiring her in the first place. And that is the San Francisco Archdiocese sexual child abuse scandal. You see, under the former San Francisco DA Hallinan, several Catholic priests were convicted of child sex abuse, and he vowed to expose more. However, to the relief of the Archdiocese, Kamala replaced Hallinan for DA. Subsequently, once Harris's term began, her office promptly destroyed years of Hallinan's work and documents that would further incriminate the Catholic Church and many allies, which would include Willie and herself. So her office had to destroy that shit. The Archdiocese depended on her doing that because that is the reason why they threw a lot of funds behind her DA campaign, which subsequently she got. She completely went against the promise she made to her constituents, and she then became the voice of her cronies. Now, I'm going to have to digress for a second because the shit just came to me. Shit just came to me. See, what came to me is that, this heifer recently got on TV and stated, as a prosecutor, the crimes of Trump and Pence is an open and shut case. Okay, Kamala, if that is the case, if this is how you feel, then you must agree that the criminal evidence of your campaign supporters that you covered up and demolished would make you ineligible to be VP. You would have to agree to that. Well, of course you're not. But additionally, what gives you a heifer the effrontery to declare yourself as a sex crimes prosecutor and go after the firm that represented Jeffrey Epstein when you heifer, you took campaign funds from that very same law firm? How do how do you explain it? Well, you got to explain it to me in layman's terms. But anyway, plus, if that's not enough, how about Ricardo Ramirez and the Pacific Cement Company? This was a ruthless player of the Brown machine. The Pacific Cement cut many corners, producing inferior work. And even though they did that, they had a large percentage of contracts in the Bay Area. However, in 2003, Ramirez cutting corners appeared to be his undoing. Pacific Cement would get the contract to repair a stretch of the Golden Gate Bridge. Instead of using solid cement like he was supposed to, Ramirez would use recycled cement to repair the bridge. And everybody knows, especially if you're in construction and know anything about it, that is inferior. That is an inferior product. And it was bad. When public work officials found out Pacific Cement was using substandard cement, they um, um, they could have that could have led to a major public calamity. Officials thought it was strange that the contractor never faced any kind of criminal charges, none. Instead, since Ramirez was a major supporter of both Harris and Brown, and he donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to them, Kamala's office let him avoid jail if he paid a heavy fine, which he did. I think it was over 400,000, if I'm not mistaken. Furthermore, throughout Harris's career, she has always stayed in tune with her party's corrupt supporter demands, and not her constituents, the people who she vowed to protect. She did. She didn't. She didn't. I mean, hell, she didn't do that. She didn't protect them. As as California's Attorney General, Kamala Harris wielded a bigger stick than previously. That meant appeasing her connections was key for getting the support she needed to become a U.S. senator. Thus, the Daughters of Charity comes to mind. This is terrible, folks. See, as the owners of several hospitals in minority communities, they were struggling and they were in jeopardy of shutting their hospitals down in these communities in hopes of preserving the nonprofit hospital chain. The Daughters of Charity uh, would require Harris's signature of approval. However, because her political allies did not like the charity, nor their supporters like the NAACP and many community activists, Kamala Harris wouldn't approve the continuation of the nonprofit hospital. For if she did approve it, she wouldn't she would not have become a U.S. senator. Again, birds of a feather flock together. This was only this this is only the tip of her chicanery. Thus, this begs the question: under a Biden presidency, which is fantasy, but let's say it's not, what would get better? Both Biden and Harris has proven that the country is expendable when it comes to their political power. However, what I'm saying right now is going to go in vain because if slavery, if black codes, if Jim Crow, if the Ku Klux Klan, if lynching, and if population control didn't change the mind of the masses, hell, neither will this. Well, that 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 that's all I have to say about that. Remember, like always, like, comment, and subscribe.